Hello and welcome back to another episode of Timeless or Trash. I'm your host for this episode, James, and joining me as always is...
Ben,
Dan,
and Christian.
And for this week's episode, in preparation for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is right around the corner, we're going to be taking a little trip back down memory lane to 2016 and watching Batman vs Superman. But we're not just watching it, are we, boys? We're watching the ultimate cut. The longest possible version of this film we could find, and we're going for it.
I'm kind of excited, but also really not at all. I'm ready to go.
I'm so excited for this. I'm so ready to watch this.
I've got some cake. I'm ready to eat up, and I'm ready to watch.
Before we start, we'll do the usual. Dan, what's your relationship with Batman vs Superman? Dawn of Justice.
I watched it at the cinema and I was just incredibly confused a lot of the time. Like, from what I remember, it wasn't a good film. Maybe the extended cut will be a bit better. Saying that, there was some good action in it. But overall, yeah, it was just like really odd cinema experience, to be quite honest.
Ben, what about you? What's your experience with this film? Christian, what about you? What's your experience with this film?
Batman and Superman were some of my favourites as a child, and when I found out they were finally coming together, live action, I was very excited, and then it wasn't quite what I expected, and I kind of moved on with my life. I'm kind of curious to go back. I'm not sure I'll enjoy all of it, maybe some of it, because I'm a little bit tied personally to the characters because of my childhood.
Christian, what about you? What's your relationship with this film?
I did not see this film at the cinema because I did not like Man of Steel, so I just chose to give this one a miss. I did eventually get round to sitting down and watching this film, and I turned it off 45 minutes in and never looked back.
Wow,
well, here we are. We're here to finish it now, Christian. You can finally get round to appreciating the true genius of this film.
Does that mean we can just skip 45 minutes in and just go
No,
from there?
absolutely not.
James, have you discussed what you think of this film? I'm getting that you're kind of into it.
I actually am a big defender of this film. I saw it in cinemas, but I saw it late in cinemas, so by the time I got around to seeing it, all the bad press had come out. Everyone was slating it, saying it was awful and all this. So I went in with low expectations, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I quite enjoyed that. I don't see what everyone's complaining about. So I think maybe my managed expectations helped.
I mean, I went in with no expectations and was still somehow disappointed.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
But before we get started, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it around, let everyone else know that, I'm gonna think this one through. I didn't think, when you start without having a clue how you're finishing it. Shall we just get started, lads?
Let's bloody go.
Well, there you have it. We've just sat through all 3 hours and 2 minutes of Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Edition. What did we think, gents?
Well,
the sound that says 1,000 words.
It's not that bad, is it, really? It's not that terrible.
It's got some moments, some real moments, and some real scenes.
I was gonna say it's got a really good 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
But yeah, it's mostly kind of broken, isn't it? Like, it just doesn't feel like a film.
Yeah, but to be fair, Dan, you did ask a lot of very simple questions that you should have known.
Yeah, you were vaguely like, no offense, Dan, you were a bit senile while we were watching it.
Who's that? Who is this woman?
She's Lex Luthor's assistant.
It was pretty obvious though, Danny.
I was asking very basic questions, like there was that one scene which turned out to be a dream sequence, right? And Batman goes in, he thinks it's kryptonite or whatever. They open the chest and it's a battery and like big green lights. And I'm like, what was that? What was that? What was it? Oh, it's fake kryptonite. They made the lights glow green so it looked like kryptonite. I was like, oh right, okay. Why was the battery so big then? Oh, I don't know, it just looked cool. It's like, that sort of stuff just really confuses me because it's like, is that significant? Like what? But it just turns out no, it's just dumb.
I'll be honest, Dan. I've heard many criticisms of this film. That has never come up before.
I think for almost not a lot going on, it also seems strangely convoluted.
A little bit.
Throughout the whole film. It's like, because what it's about, it's Lex Luthor hates Superman and wants to kill him, and so he's manipulating the press and the world against Superman, but simultaneously manipulating the Batman to fight Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the plot, but it's to get to watching it is frankly I found really boring.
And also, he knows about Wonder Woman and has spent time on graphic logos.
Was nice of Lex to design them all their own logos, though, bless him.
It's just fucking shit.
You could cut a hell of a lot out of this. I think I said at the start of the film, just feels like 2 hours of build up.
Like, let's not forget, we did watch the ultimate cut. We watched the added scenes, and I think I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend watch the standard one because it's 2.5 hours, and I'd say that is long enough.
Should we talk about some positives of the film?
I mean, if we're talking positives, let's just go straight to the top. That warehouse scene is the best Batman scene we've ever had in cinema. Ever.
Yeah.
The best scene with Batman in
kind of agree.
Yes.
in cinema.
Yes.
Oh no,
Fact.
no,
That's not true.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
No,
I
I
don't know
think it is.
whether I'd
I
agree with that.
absolutely
That's
think
not
it is.
true.
He's got power, he's got speed. That's the most dangerous I've ever felt Batman feel, and I love it.
I like the fact that, you know, Batman's constantly using the Batclaw and the Batarangs, and, you know, Batarangs just seem to, like, bounce off people, and the Batclaw just seems to, like, wrap around people's legs. Like, no, that's not how it would work. It would absolutely do damage.
I'll give it some credit. There was tiny moments in the fight scene that did things I had wondered as a fan. So little things like when growing up on the Burton ones, I'd kind of be like, just shoot him in the head, just shoot him. And those little specific things happen in that fight. That guy goes right up behind him and just caps him in the head. And then like you get to it's bulletproof. As an action fan, I'm a fan of him pitching a crate at a guy's face. But as a Batman fan, I'm a bit against it.
That's the thing that, like, let's just get out the way now. This is a version of Batman. This isn't meant to be your typical, does whatever he can to avoid killing. He's been, like, war-torn kind of thing. He's older, he's more grizzled, he's been through the ringer, and he's kind of sick of it all.
That one scene in the warehouse of the action scene, I think it resonates with us so much because it really does capture the Arkham Asylum style combat, doesn't it?
The free-flow
Oh,
combat
yeah.
is there.
It's just great. And then there's that other action scene that happens maybe an hour before where it's everything that is wrong with how they approach Batman in this film, where he just like wades up to this facility. You don't quite know why. Is he in a plane at this point?
No, he's
No,
only
no,
stood on a
he's-
crane with the sniper rifle to
Yeah, he's
fire
got a
the
sniper
trapper.
Oh,
rifle.
yeah.
And that's why you said, Dan, like, oh, why is he there? I'll be honest, part of it is so that they can imitate the frame from the Frank Miller comic.
But then the scene that leads to, where he's just completely indiscriminately blowing stuff up, it's like this completely incoherent action scene. At the end of the action scene, the film hasn't moved forward one bit. He doesn't achieve anything. It's just really, really badly done. And like they could have replaced that with a really cool kind of more stealthily sort of, let's look at how Batman intelligently approaches a situation and sneaks into this facility and takes out the guards, one by one. That'll also build character as well while you're doing that,
Yeah, like a good action film can do character stuff through the action.
The best bit about watching that was watching it with you guys and having Dan being like,
This isn't how Batman would do this.
I don't
is
think
it?
so, no.
The best part about all of it is he then plows through the truck that he's put the tracker on, and then at the end of the fight scene it shows, and that tracker is right on the corner of where he's smashed. He is so lucky that tracker's still there.
Yeah, it's pointless because he goes back to his cave to find where it goes anyway, and he should just let it go and get there. And I loved it as well, Dan, because what you described about, we could have seen this great scene of him sneaking in, and they give you that, Dan, off camera.
When did he do that?
It was off screen. The scene you wanted was off screen, Dan.
To me, that is Batman, not a guy who ends up in a massive suit at the end fighting Superman.
I don't know, he does do that though, in a similar way to how in the Marvel films we've seen when it calls for it, Tony has a new suit, like he brings the Hulkbuster suit in. Batman's done that loads of times in the comics. When he knows that he's got a particularly more powerful enemy to fight, he will design gadgets and gear that level the playing field for him in that battle.
Yeah, when he fights
Fair
Mr. Freeze, he puts a bit of white on his outfit.
yeah.
And they have skates because the ground's frozen. I know because we like action, well choreographed action. I think I actually prefer the opening where it's Bruce in his Bruce garb driving towards, the apocalypse, like the end of the world, and the bit where some would say it's a dumb move, where he runs into a falling skyscraper. I would call it, it's bravery. It's who he is.
There's a
he's got
fine
the
line between stupidity and bravery.
Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
skills to combat a falling skyscraper, but that skill he has and the belief in he has that he'll do it anyway without the Batman garb, I think shows a greater sign of his heroism.
But what that scene does well is it sets up Bruce's personal sort of vendetta might be a strong word, but that's why he has personal stakes against Superman. Superman came to hit where he does business. He directly impacted him by killing the people he works with. You know, by accident, but they are his actions that cause it. The thing that I noticed watching the film this time, why does Lex have such a thing with Superman?
Because it's from the books.
This is what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Smallville, and in that they do quite a good job of setting up why Lex and Clark have this rivalry. There's no reason in this, like nothing. He hates him because he's the villain.
This whole thing seems to be that Lex Luthor has some sort of god complex because his dad was not very nice to him as a kid, so now he's like, and because my dad wasn't nice to me, I'm gonna kill Batman and destroy Superman and ruin everyone's lives because I'm evil?
Yeah, it's like he hates powers, but he doesn't hate Superman. Like, there's nothing personal in it, which is just a bit... And there we get to, I think, a lot of the issues with this film, in that maybe Zack Snyder doesn't really understand these characters that he's playing with.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. I think he's looked at famous panels and pictures and moments and wanted to just redo them again.
Can we talk about Jesse Eisenberg's performance as well? I think that was... I think it was... I kind of know what he was going for, but it was a very strange tone to it. I almost think he was trying to capture Heath Ledger's Joker, the sort of weird, ahead of the curve, kind of pseudo genius, a little bit like Mark Zuckerberg in the social network.
Yeah,
Well, that's
clearly,
it.
Zach and his team have clearly gone, oh, why don't we change Lex up a bit? It's modern day. Modern day, well, it's more like a Mark Zuckerberg type. Let's cast a Mark Zuckerberg type. Let's just cast Mark Zuckerberg. Let's just cast Jesse Eisenberg.
He has that sort of stutter. He is putting on a bit of the Mark Zuckerberg, a bit of the Heath Ledger, and, you know, it works in places. It's not Lex Luthor, though.
No, it's not.
It just
Those
feels
noises
like-
are bizarre. Shall we talk about Superman, seeing as he is half of the film?
Oh, mopey man.
Is
Thank
Superman,
you.
Is Superman half of the film?
He's half of the title.
And he's about a
He's not
fifth of the
half.
title. It's quite- the Boy Scout American hero saves cat out of a tree. He's a murderer. And he murders a man.
Yeah,
It's not really Superman though, is it?
that man's dead. That man is
Yeah.
pulp.
The one thing I remember being like sort of a reason that I'm not overly keen on Man of Steel is the fact that Superman is this godlike Kryptonian and he doesn't really seem to care about the human. Like, he cares enough to fight Zod at the end, but it feels like he's fighting Zod for personal reasons. And then in this film, like the first time you see him, he literally does like send that guy through a wall and pulps him. And then Lois is like, "Oh, but you're a good person. You really care about humanity." And it's like, he's done nothing to show me that he cares.
It's like, just because you mention him saving a cat out of a tree at one point, that's not the same as having save the cat at the moment.
But like, he's also a really bad reporter. All Perry Wright wanted was that sports article.
Ken, your sports today. I want you to go over to Gotham, follow up on the football.
Did you file the football yet?
I logged into your Dropbox to find copy. There's copy, all right. Nothing about football.
Still no Ken?
His disappearance raises questions.
Honestly, that was the only story arc I was fully invested in.
They have the scene where, like, Martha literally says to him, she's like, you know, be the hero or be nothing. You don't owe these people anything. That is so against everything the Kents are about. Like, they've always raised one of these things. Like, if you can help people, you should.
I'm pretty sure that the only person that we see him like successfully save in this film is Lois Lane.
He slow-mo saves a rocket from an exploding spaceman in Mexico or something, and then he slow-mo hovers above those people. And that he doesn't save those people in that flood in the house. You just see him hover above them. He could fly off.
I wonder how long it took to paint that.
About an hour.
We've got nothing else to do, haven't we? What the plot I thought should have been was like an event is going on that ties Batman and Superman within the event. They have scenes together throughout the film where they're ideologically opposed, which causes them to fight. And the plot I'm describing is Captain America: Civil War. That's why that film works, because it's the Sokovia Accords and all that stuff, and what Zemo's doing, and it ties Iron Man and Cap together, and they have different sides, which causes them to fight with a bit of.
That film does have the benefit of way more films and like years of building these characters.
But I still think they could have rewritten, instead of doing 2 hours of expositional scenes of building up why Batman and Superman are pitted against the fight, you have them fight naturally themselves of this separate event. You could have had like Lex is causing this other event to occur, but you need to have multiple scenes of Batman and Superman talking to each other within the film to then fight. They share like no scenes together until they fight.
But the problem is these characters aren't different enough for that kind of thing to happen. Like, they are very similar characters.
And like they spend the whole film saying, is he good, is he bad? As the audience, we know he's good. Yeah. We know he will not break bad. So it's a bit of like a waste of time. 'Cause it's like, I don't need to hear Holly Hunter or Neil deGrasse Tyson debate if he's good or not. I know he's good. It's Clark Kent.
It's an interesting idea, though, isn't it? It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
The idea, especially when we see during that nightmare sequence, and we see this apocalyptic scenario where this is what happens if Superman actually loses the plot.
The nightmare sequence is great, though. Like, that long cut action sequence is something that I don't know why we don't see more of in superhero films, because you can just put a stunt double that can do those stunts actually in the mask and have them do them. You don't need to cut around them. So why do more superhero films not have this?
Even like in Winter Soldier, they trained for that fight where Cap and Bucky have that first fight. There's loads of cameras and cutaways and close-ups. It's like, just do a wide shot. Calm down a bit. Just show. I know you've trained for this. So just show me them doing it. You don't need to do all these little close-ups. I know. It was a good bit.
Do you remember Alfred's joke? I can't remember what it is now, but he made a joke. He made a wisecrack.
I don't deserve you, Alfred.
No, sir, you don't.
And we all felt like at that moment the film kind of changed tone slightly and sort of went up a gear and sort of went slightly up in quality. Like, characters started having like a bit of more dimension. There were jokes that were being cracked.
Are you saying that you didn't find it hilarious when that camera panned round and Batman was doing the Richmond from IT Crowd in the corner of that room?
It's so good. What the f*** is that?
I'm not sure what they were going for there. It was definitely a memorable shot.
Really weird.
But speaking of the third act, because this film doesn't just have 2 heroes, it's got 3.
Oh yeah,
that's
Lois
right.
Lane.
Obviously, yeah.
I like this film, but I will never forgive this film for robbing us of that moment where Doomsday fires his blast at Batman. You think it's going to hit him. Something blocks the blast, and you're like, oh, Superman's come save him. The smoke clears, and it reveals Wonder Woman. Great moment that we would have had in the cinemas. It would have been incredible. They threw it in the trailer.
You know why, though? Because they didn't trust the film, because they know it's not that good, so they showed the whole film.
But the problem that we then have is they left in this whole thing of intrigue of, ooh, who's this mysterious woman that's always where Bruce Wayne is? Ooh, what's going on with her? We know. There's no mystery here, even the first time you watch it.
I think that may be really hitting the nail on the head of what is actually wrong with this film, and that is basically a film designed by committee, the committee being the studio. They're just basically thinking, what's the next film? What's the next film? We have to set up not only Wonder Woman in this film, but we have to use Wonder Woman to set up a bunch of other characters for later films. It's like they've not quite understood that you can't just do that and expect the audience to go along with it. Like, Marvel did it and it succeeded because they took a lot of time and spent a lot of attention on getting that right. They had several standalone films until they did the first Avengers film. Marvel planned that, to perfection, and DC have just tried to rush it all and just tick the boxes. And
it's painfully obvious how desperate DC are trying to use this film to catch up, because we get the introduction of Batman, Wonder Woman, Lex, and Doomsday are all thrown into this film. You then get hints of Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, and they try and rush the death of Superman, the Dark Knight Rises, and the Injustice storyline gets threaded in as well. Like, they're trying to do so much in the second film.
Yeah. It's overwhelming and just too much for the audience. Like, the audience just goes, sod it, I'll go back to Marvel.
Like we said, this film had plenty of heroes. It even had a couple villains. Ben, what did you think of Doomsday?
Has he got a dick? Has the Doomsday thing got a dick?
Ben's asking the real questions.
Oh, is it Doomsday?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the cave troll from The Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's what that was. Yeah, no, not a fan, no.
Meanwhile, Superman and Batman have got their weird shit that they're trying to sort out. If, by the way, the only thing they need to do is just have a chat, you know? Just stop fighting and go, are you actually... You know, Superman just needs to go in Oprah and go, you know what? I'm actually alright. I'm not a threat. I know some people think I might be a bit mental or go off the rails or whatever, but just trust me, I'm going to be alright, and everyone just chill.
All the issues in this film could be solved within 5 minutes of conversation.
Have a chat.
But it's like, there's so much of this film where like they've got where they want to end first and they've gone backwards. So we want to end with them realising, because this is Mum's Martha's, we put the spear there, then okay, well, how do we get to the spear? We had the fight in the bathroom. How do we get to the bathroom? Well, he's got to throw him in the building. How do we get to the building? Well, he's got to be down on the ground. Well, how are we going to get there? Well, he's got to have the gun there. It's just like, chill. It's just like, and like that, the whole, the Martha thing.
We've got to address it.
Yeah. Right. It's just very ridiculous. It's just so...
Right. I'm going to say this now. It is dumb. On surface, it is dumb. The problem is... it's like what they're trying to do and what it means makes sense. But on the surface, it was so dumb that no one could look past it. Like, it's clearly a thing of... Once Batman realises that he and Superman, their mums have the same name, it's like, oh, this godlike creature, he has a mum. Same name as my mum. We're not so different. Maybe he's got this humanity I didn't see, and all of that is there. But it's just the fact it revolves around his mum's name is just too daft to see past on the surface.
You don't make it. That's why you don't say save Martha, which no one would say that. I wouldn't go save Shirley. I wouldn't say they should have just rewritten it and have Clark almost like a scared boy, but like just save my mum. As long as my mum's okay, don't save Martha, save my mum. And that's you still would have had that beat where Clark, his mission as Batman is to make sure nobody else ends up like an orphan, and so that's why he should be able to do it. Oh, so Superman isn't an orphan. Don't say save Mark. Nobody talks like that. Then Lois Lane runs in and says it was his mother's name. You didn't even hear him say.
She didn't hear him say it. She wasn't there.
And I think here's the thing with this film. There is some really good seeds in there. It just really needed a second draft. Yeah. Like, fresh eyes to come through and look at it and be like, wait, no. Like, I get that you know all this because you've written the script. But on the outside, I don't understand this. So you need to make that more clear. Shall we wrap this up and answer that question that the audience are all here for us to answer? Ben, you're going to go first.
I don't disagree. It has fleeting moments. I think that's what Zack Snyder kind of seems to be only good at. He likes his moments, and when you put it all together, it just doesn't work. When it comes down to it, it's just really boring. It's not actually rewatchable. It's really actually just dull, and it really hurts me to say as a Batman Superman fan, it's just trash. It's just not good.
Wow. Christian, what do you think?
It's like 3 hours long and there's some good shots and good scenes in there, but it's not enough to warrant me sitting through 3 hours, and for that reason it's trash. However, I will state on the end of my trash that I do not blame any of the actors for the reason that it's trash.
No,
except maybe Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, maybe him. Dan, what do you think? Timeless or trash?
I think this film is a film designed by committee. The director is obviously a bit of a visionary. Is he good or bad? Is he good and is it the studio interfering? I guess we're going to find that out when Justice League Extended Edition comes out. But really, this film, as it was presented to us, is trash.
Well, I guess I'll round us up here and I'll just say, look, I like this film. I think it's got its issues and I'm not going to deny that. I think the best way to watch this film is watch the theatrical cut with someone there who's already seen it, so they can kind of fill you in on the questions you're bound to have. But I go into these films wanting to like them, and I do, so I'm gonna call this film timeless.
That's ridiculous, man. That's mental.
I know.
But like, he's gone. Dan's gone. See you later.
But the thing is, as host of this episode, I can overrule you all. So there we have it. For the Spaceman Flu, say that Batman vs Superman is timeless. No, there we go. Despite my best efforts, the committee have decided that Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice is trash. Well, you know, we may not have enjoyed this one, but let's hope we enjoy next week's more.
Clip.
Wrong floor.
You guys may not have enjoyed Snyder's work on Batman vs Superman, but let's hope that his the Snyder Cut of Justice League is at least better than the theatrical one we got. It's got to be at least better. Please, dear God, be better.
Stay tuned though, because we will be reviewing it.
We will.
So keep
You'll
an
hear
eye
our
on the
thoughts
channel.
on that, yeah.
Keep an eye.
But thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to, you know, like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let us know. Do you like Batman vs Superman? Are they all right? Am I right? Who knows? But until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.